Now, there will likely come a time when you need to install a program from source, and so I want to walk you through that process, and so you can see how this goes. I have not tried to install this program before. I've downloaded a program called My Man, which is a game, not usually something you're going to be installing on Ubuntu server, and if you did want to install some awesome games on your Ubuntu server, you could simply install the BSD games package and you'd get a ton of games installed. But to show you how to install from source code, and actually I'm hoping we get some errors, and hopefully we can resolve those errors, and you'll get to see a little bit about what that, you'll get to see, how that process looks. So the first thing we have to do is unzip and unpack this tarball, and we'll do that with XVCF and then myman. And so here we have taken everything out of there. We've got a new directory. We will change into that directory. And most programs are going to have a configure script that you can use. And this one does. You see configure in green to the left there. So the first thing that we can do here is issue configure in order to configure our program from source. And once we're done with that, we will issue sudo make, and this can take some time depending upon the package that you are installing, so we'll give it the time that it needs. And now we can see here that we have a fatal error, curses.h, no such file or directory. So we've received our first error in attempting to install a program from source code. Now, in looking at this error, we know the problem. The problem is we don't have curses.h, and we need to have curses.h because this program is assuming that we'll have it, and we don't. So the solution's pretty simple. We go to Google, we find out how we can get curses.h on our machine. It's very likely contained in a package. And in fact, it is contained in a particular package which should be called lib-incurses-dev. We'll see how this goes here. Now that that has completed, remembering there's no shame in going to Google, finding out what package contains whatever you need. You're never going to be able to know off the top of your head every single package, every dependency. No server administrator does that. It's good to know as much as you possibly can, but knowing that you can use the internet to your advantage here, we can try again. Now that we have curses.h to run sudo make, and we'll see how far we get. Now we can already see more output. That's good. That means we're getting further than we did previously. But of course, we'll see if it ends in another error or if it successfully runs the make command all the way through. All right, now we have ended in another error, and you can see here, especially when you're installing things from source, you have to read the error, okay? It says, Groff, can't find DESC file, fatal error, invalid device DVI. Try installing the Groff package? Question mark. Do we have the Groff package? No, I have no idea what Groff is. So I'm going to install it. Sudo apt-get install, and I'm going to assume it's called Groff. Why not? If we receive an error, oh, look, we found the package. Yes, we want to install it. If we had not been able to find Groff, then we could have performed sudo apt-cache search Groff, which would have then searched for any packages. The package may not have been called Groff. It could have been called Groff2 or Groff-dev or Groff-lib or whatever. And so, if it didn't work with Groff, if that wasn't the actual package name, then we could have found it that way. And again, that would have been sudo apt-cache search, and I'm just going to go ahead and run it for you here, Groff. And you can see the package is called Groff. And you can see Groff and actually Groff base there. Now, do we need Groff base? GNU Trough Text Formatting System, GNU Trough Text Formatting System, base system components. I don't know whether or not we need that. And so I'm going to continue on with sudo make now that we've installed Groff. And any errors we encounter, I'll go back and very likely attempt to install the Groff base package. But for now, let's see how make turns out this time. Okay, so make seemed to run correctly. We now issue sudo make install, and we cross our fingers yet again that everything goes smoothly. And our make install command seems to have run without any issue. Can we run the myman command? It would appear that we can. And let's go ahead, and this is just reading its license here. And if you haven't caught on, myman is a Pac-Man clone, and so for Ubuntu server. And so here we are. We're up and running. We can go ahead and play some myman, right? So I'm actually playing myman right now in my Ubuntu server. Now, I know you're going to do much more professional things in Ubuntu server than play things like myman. But the reason that I went ahead and installed a package from source for you, I just chose this game at random. But the reason I went ahead and did that is because you're going to have to do it at some point, and you're going to need to feel at least fairly comfortable with resolving dependencies, with resolving any errors you encounter during the installation process. And the most important thing that I can tell you and that I can share with you is to make sure you read the errors. I just know so many people that just do not read the errors. Make sure you read them. There's no shame in Googling things as long as you understand what you're Googling. And so what I mean by that is don't simply, we'll get out of the game here so that I can focus on what I'm saying to you. Don't simply Google the error and just look for the Band-Aid that fixes your system. You've got to think about, what am I trying to do? For instance, the first error we encountered with curses.h, and it said no such file or directory. Well, what does that tell me? It didn't say, hey, I don't have curses.h and I need it. It told me that it couldn't find curses.h, and I went ahead and assumed, well, if it can't find it, it's trying to find it, it obviously needs it. So I went to Google on a mission to find out where I could get the curses.h file, because I knew implicitly that the make command for this particular package required curses.h. So that's just a little bit about installing from source. It doesn't have to be daunting. Again, Ubuntu's friendly. Debian is Linux for humans. So you're going to have lots of, help with these error messages if you'll take the time to read them and walk through some things in your own mind so that you know what the problem is and you have a general idea of how you're going to resolve it.